Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time and subscribe if you are new. Chelsea versus Manchester City preview. I'm very nervous. I know you are as well, because really we would have loved to have a little Bournemouth at home. No disrespect. A little Wolves, something appetizing, something tantalizing, something that we can just work our way into. But Manchester City, the champions, even with no Oscar Bob, who unfortunately out for many months, confirmed by Pep. Rodri suspended for this game as well, confirmed by Pep. So Man City are coming in with their own troubles and tribulations. We are still underdogs, but we're at home. And we did draw against them twice last season, including that incredible 4-4 draw where Cole Palmer got the late equaliser. And we're going to talk about a few aspects of that game and bring it into this. But listen, before we go any further, Big Six, watch along. Sunday, I will be there. I will be there. I will not be here. So Chelsea versus Manchester City. Make sure you're subscribed to the Big Six if you're not already. Every single Chelsea Big Six game will be on the Big Six with the watch-alongs. I'll be doing Chelsea watch-alongs for every other game here, but the Big Six games, Man City, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, Tottenham, they'll be over there. So just remember that. I'll put it in the community tab so you guys don't forget. But if you don't see a watch-along here, I am still doing a watch-along. I'm just with my brothers. So let's get into things. Now, Maresca has come out, and first of all, let's start with the news, because we know that Angelo is available for transfer as opposed to a loan, which... Listen, I'm disappointed in a way, because I would love to see him go out on loan in regards to continue his Strasbourg adventures with Andre Santos and maybe even Wiley. And just because I feel like him and Andre Santos have got a Brazilian brotherly love. I think they've got a chemistry, a connection, and I would love to see them play together. Obviously, Angelo got injured last season. And also just from a selling aspect, I'm not in this point where I'm expecting Angelo to make it at Chelsea. Now, I've already said really a loan suits him because of his lack of goal scoring instincts or ability to put the ball in the back of the net frequently enough. He wasn't able to do that at Strasbourg. He's more of a more creative type player. But even from a selling aspect, I don't think we're selling at the maximum price point if we sell him right now. He hasn't had one of those incredible or seasons where you could say, right now we're going to sell for a serious big profit. So it feels like in this window we are starting to sell people maybe earlier than would have been expected. Is that because we don't have enough positions to put them in terms of adequate loans, international loans? We obviously know Selina's gone out on loan to Barnsley. We've had a couple of players that will maybe go to the Championship on loan, like Gilchrist and whatnot, but some players like Washington Angelo maybe suit those international spots, and maybe we don't have enough. So yeah, interesting to see how that one materializes. But Maresca was quick to say in the press conference that it is down to Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley in regards to outgoings, because they did ask him about Gallagher, and they asked him about what is Gallagher's situation. Maresca confirmed he's not going to be in the squad. He is training in that separate group, and he's doing his medical tests, and they're trying to find a solution for him. So we'll see what materializes in regards to Felix, in regards to Osimhen, in regards to Gallagher, in regards to Lukaku. But we're not going to talk about that today, because nothing has happened. There is no update, and everybody is still at a standstill. Which one Chelsea choose to prioritize is their business, but our business is Manchester City, and that is the main focus. So let's get into it. Now, I want to start with the tactics, because my lineup is on screen. There you go. In the coming previews, I will be, moving things around, and I'll be able to describe to you what I think we should try to do, or what I think we're going to try and do, and you'll be able to see it in live time as I move players about into different positions. But for today, we are in a bit of a rush, so we're just going to put the lineup on screen like we usually did and save that upgrade for next preview. This is the team that I would like to see. This is the team that we could see. I don't think we're too far away from what I would want, what maybe you would want, and what Maresca is going to put out. I think the only question mark is Pedro Neto, because he did confirm that Pedro Neto is completely fit. He is completely fit, but he's only had 2-3 days training with the boys. They welcomed him, it seemed to be in a wonderful way. He had his back of his head slapped like repeatedly as he ran through the line of players, as they do. Sure, he had to do some sort of initiation song as well. But like I said, only 2-3 days training. So is he ready to go into the team from a tactical standpoint, not really a fitness standpoint? That's maybe what Maresca's hinting at. He could start, he could be on the bench. Now, for me personally, I am busting my balls. Pause. I really want him to start. I mean, we know that left wing is very much been worrisome since we've really been witnessing it in pre-season. Mudryk and Sterling. Mudryk Sterling, we could get a good performance, we could get a bad one, we could get anonymous, we could get, you know, active, we could get tracking back, we could not. So for me, I'd like to see Pedro Neto. He's fresh, bring something different to the team in terms of the crossing ability that really neither of Sterling especially can't really bring to this side. I'd love to see Pedro Neto giving us those crosses from the wide areas and giving us potential in Cuckoo headers, or, you know, Jackson, he has improved on that part of his game towards the back end of last season. So I'd like to see Neto. I think the rest of the team is almost self-explanatory. The other big talking point is maybe Caicedo and Enzo and Lavia. I think Lavia was our best midfielder in pre-season. I think Enzo's last performance in pre-season was really much improved from his first few. Caicedo, again, these guys came back a bit later from the Copa America and whatnot, so I was expecting them to be a bit rusty or a bit, you know, rough and ragged. I wasn't expecting brilliant performances anyway from the get-go. But I think Caicedo might miss out because purely Enzo is now captain, because Chilwell is not going to play, and Chilwell is not really going to be involved at all, it seems, because he's available and Maresca doesn't see him as part of the plans. We know Renato Vieira is the second choice left back behind Cucurella, and we was really happy. I think all of us were really happy with his last preseason game as well, getting stuck in with the lads, beefing up, you know, the crowd and getting them on their feet and, you know, trying to inject some energy into the bridge, which is needed. The home crowd, we need the energy. So yeah, I think that's the situation. Enzo will play because he is captain. Also because I think he wants to try and establish some sort of relationship there with Lavia to see if they can, you know, build some sort of partnership. How we get Caicedo, the £115 million transfer, into this team? Well, there's options. Either you play with all three of them, which again, we want to get in Cuckoo, we want to get some goals into this midfield, into this attacking midfield, Palmer, or you play Caicedo as an inverted right back at times this season, we could see, right? Especially if James is going to be injured and suspended. He played at Brighton at the Emirates last couple seasons back, played a brilliant job in that role, did a brilliant job, and he's naturally comfortable in those central zones. So we know when we invert the fullback, they're always in midfield anyway, on the ball especially. So he'll be comfortable doing that. Obviously, that means Gusto, someone else will miss out. But yeah, it's good to have these options if there's injuries, if there's knocks, if there's people that need resting. So it will be very interesting to see. Now, from a Manchester City standpoint, because we are not going to sit here and pretend like as if we don't have big problems to deal with going the other way. We played them in pre-season. We conceded a truckload of goals, trying to play out from the back, of course, and make those right selections and choices. We are going to have to do a heck of a lot better job doing that this time. Otherwise, we're going to turn over the ball in the first phase, and we're going to concede opportunities and probably golazos. Haaland must be stopped. Cucurella, Haaland is trembling. In the game, the 4-4, if you remember, at Stamford Bridge last season, who fouled Haaland for the penalty to put us 1-0 down? It was Cucurella. And I have a feeling that Haaland, not because of the song, he is going to target Cucurella or Gusto in terms of crosses from wide areas if Man City decide to put the ball into the box, which they could, especially when you've got a striker like Haaland. Sometimes you do just need to get it in there early and not do too much tiki-taka. And he's going to try and pin himself to those fullbacks, and he did in that game at Stamford Bridge, and it caused us a lot of problems. So, as you can see on the thumbnail, we need to be very much P&P. Now, I don't think we can just find P&P out of nowhere. I'm looking at Colwell as well. Stronger, faster, wide areas, handle business. There's no Oscar Bob like in pre-season, but Haaland is the menace. Haaland is the man that needs to be detained, needs to be watched, needs to be arrested. And we need to find a way of doing it, because I do have a feeling in this game we are going to concede a goal, maybe even two, most likely. We're going to need to fire back, going the other way with two. Maybe it will be a 4-4 like last season. But like I said, that side of the game there is a big problem. We need to sort that, because Haaland is looking like he could, I mean, he is going to go and get another golden boot, in my opinion. If he keeps himself fit, he'll run away with it, and it won't even be a competition like last season. In regards to ourselves, like I said, I've got Palmer on that right-hand side. I would love to see Gusto and Palmer having that same relationship and kind of chemistry that they showed last season, where Gusto just gives him the overlap. Palmer comes inside and is able to take his shots, pick his passes, and create his chances. I think this game might be too soon for Gu. I want to see Jackson start. I just feel like the difficulty of coming up against Manchester City on your first game, even though Gu had a nice preseason, it is just a bit too much to ask, probably, outside of just the pressing and the work rate that he's going to put in. I'm talking about the overall game, the tempo of the game, the technique of the quality of the game. I think Jackson is, obviously, he's been here now a whole season. He is the number one at the moment. He should be coming back into the side, hopefully, if he's 100% fit. Maresca did say on tactics, he said, since we started, we play 2 different ways. On the ball and off the ball, we already press in different ways. We try to adapt. It depends on the other team. And of course, Manchester City, will they play Vardy at left back? How will he play? Will he overlap? Will he invert? You know, they always like to tuck someone else into midfield from that right-hand side. They've done it with Rico Lewis. If it's Kyle Walker, potentially not. Akanji back 3s. There's so much different varieties of what Man City can throw at us. But there's no Rodri. And Kyle Walker did take a big dip at the back end of, you know, last season, or throughout last season. And, you know, the Euros was sketchy as well. And I think Sterling rinsed him, if I remember, in the both previous encounters in the Premier League last season. So maybe you can justify putting Sterling in if it's not Pedro Neto, just purely based on the fact that Sterling knows how to get change out of Walker, and he did so last season. So that's something to look at as well. Cancelo, just going to bring him up because Pep mentioned him as someone that could be involved this season, could go out on loan, something to keep an eye on. I don't think he'll start this game. He might be on the bench. I'm not sure on his fitness situation and how heavily involved he's been in pre-season. But again, off the ball, defensively, someone to definitely target and attack if he gets to come off the bench. But for sure, on the ball, the guy is a menace and a problem, and his technique and quality is there to be demonstrated. Noah Cucurella, because he's going to be going to Southampton as well on a loan, no option to buy. That means for me, Dewsbury Hall is going to become one of the 2 players that play just in front of the back line with the Enzos, the Caicedos, the Lavias, and and obviously himself. Like I said, I expect him to be on rotation minutes this season. I don't think he's going to be an out-and-out starter. He's not in my team for this game. I don't think he's going to start. So yeah, bear that in mind. That's probably where he's moving to, and he's going to have to give us, I guess, an engine. He's going to give us dynamism, because Ogachukwu, from a physical standpoint, was given a different profile to the rest of this side from an aerial and on the ground standpoint. And I think as much as it's good to get regular game time at Southampton and obviously hopefully propel his value and his stocks, I do actually think he could have contributed to this season, especially with Andre Santos gone. Conference League, got games. So yeah, we'll see if that backfires. Hopefully it doesn't, but that means people need to stay fit. So yeah, Enzo Maresca's saying that he feels like the team is ready in regards to day 1. They're improving on things. Obviously, it's early days. Pep has called for time for Maresca as well to say, listen, I don't know if Chelsea are going to give him that time. Notoriously, they don't, but if they do, they won't regret it. Obviously, he worked with him, I think, for 9 years, they were saying. Or not, was it 9 years? Well, they've worked with each other for a very long time. But yeah, he's happy with the level of the team in terms of it's higher than what he expected. Maresca is what he's saying in regards to being ready for the first game, and obviously the momentum and the importance of winning your first game. I don't think we have to win this game. Obviously, it would be absolutely fantastic if we could. Puts down a nice marker for ourselves, puts confidence into the boys. But we cannot lose. We cannot lose. We need to try and get a result, bare minimum, so we can put something on the board early doors and don't put too much pressure on ourselves going into the next game. So yeah, guys, that's everything I think for today. I'm very much nervous. Like I said, I will be on the watch along with the Big Six. I don't know how I'm going to take that in terms of mentally, because I'm used to just watching it with you guys, and we commence and we have the community and we have the same plan and we want to win. These guys are going to probably be trying to rattle me. They're going to be, cheering when Man City score against me. I don't even know how I'm going to react. I might punch someone in their arm. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It might be a brawl. It might be a brawl. Let's see what if I'm getting slapped. If we're getting slapped up 4-5s, I'm telling you, I might walk out. I'm just saying, I don't know how to compose myself in these areas. We'll see what happens. But yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash up the likes, and I'll see you guys next time in a bit, people. Peace.